Hi, thanks for joining me for Going Deeper. Steve Arterburn here, and I really appreciate you being with me. We're talking about procrastination, and you could say that I'm a member of PA, Procrastinators Anonymous. I've been a procrastinator. I still do it from time to time. Have deadlines that I have a lot of difficulty meeting, but I do meet them. I promised in the video before that I would tell you why we procrastinate and give you the solution to procrastinating. So I'm going to do that right off the bat. So here's the deal. Why is it that when you're in college, let's say, or high school, either one, why is it that whenever you have a test, about probably 90 to 95% of the folks that take that test, including you, why is it that they prepare for that test one degree or another? Most of the people in higher education or in high school, when the test is there, they study for that test. Now, why is that? Why would they do that? Because if the test is tomorrow, I don't have another chance the day after, because it's a very firm deadline in my head, and about, depends on the person, for some 2 hours before the test, oh, I better study. Others, 2 days before the test, they start thinking, okay, that deadline is coming, I've got to get ready for it. What if there was no deadline? What if the teacher said, within the next year, I'd like you to take that test? The procrastinators would never take the test because procrastinators don't have deadlines. That's why we procrastinate. Hey, if you're a procrastinator, you might file your taxes by April 15th, or you might file late, which is okay, in October. But you're going to do one or the other because that's a very firm deadline. So here's what I want to encourage you to do. Think about all the stuff that you haven't done that you wanted to do. I've written or been a part of, my name is on over 130 books. Well, every one of those books has had a deadline. Now here's what I hear from people all the time. I would like to write a book. And I say to them, probably not. You'd probably like to have written a book, but writing a book is kind of a painful process. Now, it's not for me because I start with an outline. I create my outline and I never have writer's block because I just go from this to this. And if I'm having a hard time with this, I jump down over here another part of the outline, and then while I'm typing that and writing that, I go, oh, well, that works back here. So I have deadlines. You procrastinate because you don't have a deadline. So what does that say? We need, as procrastinators, to give ourselves realistic deadlines and make the commitment to stick to them. Okay, so you're invited to go to see the musical Hamilton. I don't think you can now because as I'm doing this, Broadway isn't performing. But I know a guy that paid $1,500 for his date and to have a ticket, and he paid $1,500 for his. And they got out of the cab, and she stepped off the curb in her high heels and broke her ankle, and they went to the hospital. They never got to see Hamilton. He gave the tickets away to just people walking by on the sidewalk because they had to get in the ambulance and go to the hospital. Crazy. But here's the thing. If you were going to go to Hamilton and you're a procrastinator, you would say to yourself, the worst thing in the world would be for me to do my thing where I put off getting dressed, put off seeing if I have anything to wear, procrastinate over getting cleaned up, makeup and all that. You would say, this is so important. $1,500 my boyfriend paid for this ticket. I'm going to set aside the whole day. I'm going to get my clothes out. I'm going to take my bath, do whatever I do. I'm going to get my makeup on. I'm going to be ready by 3 o'clock, not by 6 to get there by 7 for it to start a day. I'm going to be ready by 3. And so because you're a procrastinator, you're not ready by 3, you're ready by 5. But because you made that deadline with margin in it, everything worked out well. So what I'm saying is, procrastinators don't give themselves realistic deadlines. I have a person in my life, and I won't mention my wife's name, but when she's thinking about going someplace, she will think about, okay, let's say church. Now, she used to be a worship leader. She's a soloist. She could have been a recording artist. So you'd want to go to church. If you're all that, you'd want to be at church for the praise and worship music. Well, church is 20 minutes from our house. So she, in her head, thinks that we should leave 20 minutes before church starts. Well, that's not enough, because see, at 20 minutes till, we still have to walk out to the garage, get in, back out, drive. Then we get to church. Other people have decided to go to church. We're in a long line of people pulling in the parking lot. Then we have to pull into the parking lot. If we're way far away, we have to wait for the little bus to come by and get us. If we're close, we still have to get out, walk into the church, get that bulletin, and find a place to sit. And by that time, most of the praise and worship music is over. But if she could expand what she's thinking, it's 20 minutes by car. Let's put 5 minutes on the front, 10 minutes on the back, and let's start saying that my deadline, my realistic deadline, is not leaving 20 minutes before church. It's leaving 45 minutes before church. So what I'm saying is, procrastinators have a deadline problem. If you don't have this thing up in your head that's accurate, that serves you well, then you will procrastinate for the rest of your life. But if you could change what you're saying and say, I'm kind of a procrastinator because I don't have realistic, hard deadlines for myself, you start to do that. Practice setting deadlines. I need to do this. Okay, you can write that in a to-do list, but put a date on when I need to do it. Or 3 days before, I need to prepare for this. And when you do that, all of a sudden you wake up one day and you go, oh, I'm not a procrastinator anymore. Deadline. I'd be dead without deadlines because I'd never go see my doctor. Now, it's embarrassing when I do. He's the only person, I think, the only man that's ever seen me naked. But anyway, that's another thing. So we got to have these deadlines. When we set the deadlines, our life isn't dead. It's full of things we never dreamed we could get around to doing. Next time, I'm going to talk to you about why you procrastinate and some of the quote-unquote benefits of procrastination. So join me then. Steve Arterburn here for Going Deeper. If you need some help, call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.